Hello, folks, and welcome to episode number 23 of Listen in 3D. I'm Justin, aka Too Tall for You Fool,
And I'm Netta, aka Wondrous Net.
and together we are both Team 3D, the host of Listen in 3D, where we dissect, discuss, and debate the music and albums in the world of hip hop and other genres. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you for doing so, but just do us a couple favors. Like the video, subscribe, comment, share it around with all your friends and folks. And if you want to go one step further, just help us out by when you do subscribe, click the notification bell. That way you get access and you know immediately when we post a video, whether it be a short or just a regular video. While you're on the channel, definitely check out some of our shorts. Some of them are, about a minute or two. So helps us, with the YouTube algorithms as, like they like to bury smaller channels like us. So definitely thank you for watching or listening. If you have any email for us or want to share anything, listenin3d@gmail.com. And of course, we do read all the comments, whether it be on any of our social media platforms, Instagram or TikTok. So definitely check us out there. We're posting stuff, at least on a weekly basis. All right. So with all that out of the way, Netta, how you doing today?
I'm pretty good. I can't complain. I got my internet a little bit updated. They say it's supposed to have gone from 500 mega whatever to a
Megabits.
thousand.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's
So
one
they
gig. So it's 1 gig now.
oh sure.
Yeah.
They say it's supposed to be faster, so
Yeah.
we'll
That
see if
sounds
it
that sounds like
is.
the fastest. I mean, I'm still at 500 megabits per second. I mean, it's pretty fast for the most part. I can't complain about my internet. I know a few weeks ago when we were having internet troubles during the Kendrick Lamar episode, it was a little rough. But right now, I think everything's good on my end. I don't think I've disconnected from our site just yet, and yeah, I think you look fine too. I haven't seen any stuttering, so that's good that you got the internet upgraded. Well, for me, speaking of internet, they like the I don't know, with the yearly fees, I don't know what it is. Like they try to get you in these contracts for 1 year, and after that, they just secretly start raising the prices and start thinking you didn't notice. So my wife had enough of it, so she hit up our internet service provider, which is Frontier, and she's just like, "Hey, you don't value customers, all this stuff. I want to go to Spectrum," and then they lowered the bill, so I got my internet lowered. Thank God. So it's yeah, they just keep
That's
lowering it.
good.
Yeah,
You got to keep your foot on their necks to keep their price low, or
yeah,
they're going to keep raising it.
yeah. We're at the point now where it was double what we're paying for like new people coming in. It was just about double, and this is 500 megabits. May I remind you? So if you wanted to start with a gig, it would have been a lower price than that. So it's just like, damn, like, yeah, internet's
Yeah,
no joke.
yeah.
All right. I know the last several episodes we've been doing, some older albums from the '80s. Like I said, we've been doing everything from the 2010s, 2000s, the 1990s, and up until this point, we'd only done like Easy E and the Beastie Boys from the '80s. So we're gonna get some more '80s stuff in here, not only this episode, but an episode or two later also. So, Netta, you want to get started with what we're doing today?
Yes, so today we'll be discussing the first ever hip hop studio album, the Sugarhill Gang's Sugarhill Gang. It was released February 7th, 1980. It had singles including Rapper's Delight, Rapper's Reprise, and Here I Am. And there was a music video for Rapper's Delight. It was the first hip hop single, or I'm sorry, Rapper's Delight was the first hip hop single to make it to the top 40, and it peaked at number 36 on the Billboard Top 100. And it had guest appearances of, well, Rapper's Reprise had guest appearances with the Sequence.
Yes, that's right. So, Rapper's Delight. Thank you very much for that. So, The Sugarhill Gang, responsible for the hit single "Rapper's Delight," which we will be talking about here shortly. So, did you have any memories of the Sugarhill Gang? Have you ever heard of them before listening to this album or anything like that?
I don't think I heard the name Sugar Hill Gang, but I've heard my parents singing before, like the hip hop, hippity hippity, don't stop, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I know for me, I'll be honest with you. When I first started listening to hip hop, I know I had heard it somewhere. I don't remember where I first was when I first heard it. I know. Well, I mean, this song has already been around 4 or 5 years when I was born, so I know I didn't hear it as a baby. But when I got my toes, dipped in listening to hip hop, I don't really have any memories of listening to it, but definitely like watching documentaries, like say on VH1 or MTV, and what are the greatest songs of all time. This song always well, not the song "Rapper's Delight" always tends to make the list. So that would be the memories I've had of the Sugar Hill Gang, and just watching that music video, and their songs were played everywhere, even as most recently as I know you're not a gamer, but for any gamers out there, it was in one of the Forza games. I want to say Forza Horizon 4 on the Xbox One. So yeah, it was. So it's on there. So I mean, yeah, that song's just been all around. It's also in the Library of Congress. The NPR, the National Public Radio. So it's a song that's definitely gone down in history.
For
uh,
sure.
yeah, it's also in the Grammy Hall of Fame as well. It was inducted in 2014. So very iconic record. As for the rest of the record, I mean, I've heard, I believe, Rappers Reprise at one point. So I mean, so a lot of the songs were fairly new to me, but listening to them, they do sound old. So, but it was so that's memories of the Sugar Hill Gang, at least for me. And I think of, I mean, my mom's not a big hip hop fan, but I mean, she definitely can tell you who these guys are. If you were to ask her, this was like one of the only rappers she liked in terms of like their songs and whatnot. So
Yeah, when I was going through and looking at a few of their YouTube videos, you see people in the comments like these new rappers cannot hold a candle to these guys.
yeah,
They the fans of it are the real fans, and they might feel like this is almost an entirely different genre than modern hip hop. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, it's funny that you bring that up. Do you think that comparing modern hip hop today to hip hop way back when, do you think it's the same, or do you think it's comparing like apples to oranges or something like that?
I don't know if it's apples to oranges, but it's like they're definitely very different things. Like, there's hints of you know our current hip hop in the other one, but I would almost be more likely to compare that to they're more the 70s stuff,
Hmm.
the disco kind of stuff. But it's an entirely different vibe.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it definitely is a different vibe. Even like something like this compared to something, say, like in the mid 90s, it was just a totally different vibe, totally different crowd, it seemed like. So, I
Yeah.
mean, maybe there's some points of the genre where it could be apples to oranges. I mean, I think for the most part, hip hop, it's someone is rapping, someone's making a beat or whatnot. So, I mean, I think the dynamics are the same. Now, the sound itself, that's what's evolved over the years, and some people may think it's better than what it was years ago. Some people, like the old school, and that's okay. Whatever you like.
Yeah.
Um, so the Sugar Hill Gang consisted of three members: Master G, Big Bank Hank, and Wonder Mike. And for the most part, they were just three rappers. They came along together. to form Sugarhill Records under the leadership of Sylvia Robinson. One of the things I learned when going through this album and when they put it together, I guess she did not want it to be exclusively hip hop, which I think probably maybe worked out for the better. I don't know. Maybe some people might disagree with me on that one, but she wanted it. It was a little bit of tempo, rapping, a little slow tempo R&B, a little bit of disco as well. So I mean, it was kind of all over the place.
I remember watching an interview, and I think they were asking, I think Don Cornelius.
Don
It might have been
Cornelius.
Don Cornelius. It might have been the other guy on Soul Train.
Hmm.
One of those interviewers was asking them, so do you only rap or you do other things? And the Big Bank Hank guy was like, no, we do all kinds of things. We got to make it versatile. That's the only way we're gonna, survive. So I guess it was a big deal to them to like
Yeah.
keep it
Yeah, I
versatile.
don't. Yeah, like I said, I don't. I don't think it personally would have worked if it was all rapping. At least during that time. Now, maybe going into the mid '80s, maybe if I think they stopped making records in like '84, '85 or something like that. So maybe if we ever do another Sugar Hill album, I mean we have to see how it goes. But I mean, I think they went. I think it was the right call. And the so Sugar Hill Records, they had other acts on there as well from the Treacherous Three, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, Funky 4+1, Crash Crew, The Sequence. We'll get into some recommendations toward the end of the episode. So, um, so enough talking about the group itself. What do you think of the album artwork?
I thought it was. I liked it. It's like colorful. You got people singing and dancing.
Hmm.
I thought it really perfectly encapsulated the themes of the album, like partying, feeling good, looking good, being the best, and love. Like I thought it was a good reflection of the album. What did you think?
I thought, it definitely reflected, like the whole party scene during that time. Definitely, uh, a little bit of disco, a little bit of soul. So I think the album artwork clearly reflects what you're going to listen to. I don't think there's any surprises there.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty good. Maybe would have been nice if it was a little more colorful instead of the red, but I guess that's how clubs were during that time. So I mean, I don't go to the club much regardless, but I mean, I guess we're in the late '70s, early '80s. That's what you were kind of getting, I
Yeah.
guess.
I agree. If they would have been, less redded out,
Mhm.
and even if they would just use the actual colors, like that would have been nice.
All right, so beats. There's only 6 songs on here, so the best beat. What would you say? I think we're both want to agree on this one.
I said rappers reprise. What did you say?
I went with Rapper's Delight. I think it's just more iconic. But Rapper's Reprise was probably the second best in my opinion. But yeah, Rapper's Reprise was actually a really good song, by the way. So, but
I honestly, going into it, I expected the beats from this time to be
mm,
like a lot less complex and a lot less interesting than like contemporary beats.
mm.
But for me, it was right up there with them. So I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I think the beats back then. I think people don't give enough credit for it sometimes. It's like you can go through like a lot of these old records, and it'll just be like, oh, this was sampled here, this was sampled here. I think like even I'm like a student sometimes, like, oh, this is where Dr. Dre got this the idea for this song from. So it's like if you go through like a lot of this stuff, you'll find that like rappers, today, even back 10, 20 years ago, sampled like a lot of this kind of stuff. So I thought, yeah, you can learn a lot going through them. So I know. So the singles, like you said, were pretty much Rapper's Delight, Rapper's Caprice, and Here I Am. I'll go with. Let's start with the first song, Here I Am. What were your thoughts on this one?
It wasn't what I expected to hear.
Mm,
When I went into this album, I'm like, okay, this is the first the first people who made hip hop mainstream,
Yeah.
and I just wasn't expecting to hear like the very first song like this nice pure like Temptations type like
Yeah.
love song. I mean, but I liked it. It was nice.
Yeah, it was definitely was a nice song.
Yeah, it was a nice little pure love song. How did you like it?
I mean, it was a nice love song. I think there was another love song on here I liked a little better than this one, but it was a nice single, nice groove, and definitely trying to mix it up with what they had going on during that time. So kind of can't complain. Nothing really stood out to me here lyrically, and the beat was okay in my opinion.
I
Uh,
agree.
all right, we'll go with the second single, "Rappers Reprise" or "Jam Jam." What were your thoughts on this song?
Now I really liked the beat, so, and the beat was on
Yeah.
and it was playing, and then all of a sudden they started. I never heard this song before, and when the group of people just start
Mm,
saying a jam, a jam, a jam, a jam, 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 I was just like, what in the world? I don't know. It was kind of like it was kind of very corny to me. I was like, what? But the song was so long, it
yeah.
kind of grew on me.
It does grow on you.
Uh,
Yeah. See, yeah, a lot of these songs back then were pretty long. So another call out I
yeah.
do have who's notorious for doing long songs. We'll get into one of his CD albums later on down the line. Too Short had a lot of long songs also.
Oh,
Yeah, he's one
okay.
of the rappers I can think of at the top of my head. But not to get off topic. But yeah, yeah, they were. Yeah, the songs were pretty long. Yeah, like the next thing we're talking about next, I just found the shorter version of it. I didn't listen to the whole 14 minutes. Well, I've heard it before, but yeah, like the original song, 14 minutes. But I think the beat was good. The hook was yeah, it was a little corny, but when you get into the verses, like these guys can flow, especially for during like the time, like rapping. I mean, especially Master G. Yeah, he had to be my favorite on this song, and I heard him on not any other song on this record, but I believe it was their next record. I heard heard a song on him that he was flowing on. I think definitely has like the best voice of the three of them. Uh, I think he definitely. I think rappers today, some of them, not all of them, we could probably take a play out of their book or two. Just see how to rap because that guy can that guy can hold it down. Master G, I really liked him.
I liked out of like voice wise, I liked the Hank guy the best. He was just kind of like I don't know, he was like super into it. Even when I saw the video, he was just like I don't know, I just really liked his voice, and I liked how they were like they teamed up with that group, the Sequence, and the girls are like uh well, one of them said we're from the north, and the other one said we're from the south, and we're
Yeah,
all gonna rock this house. And I was like, I like that because they're like,
yeah,
you got the men and the women, and you got the north and the south, and like they're all teaming up together to
yeah,
make
yeah. I think
this
the
song.
Sequence. Yeah, they're from the south. Sequence. It was I have their names here. Cheryl, the Pearl. She sang in the third verse. Going through the lyrics
Angie
here.
B,
Yeah.
yeah,
And then who was the last one? Angie B,
the
yes,
Blondie,
and Blonde, yeah, Angie B and Blondie, yeah. So I mean they were pretty good, and then they were also on the Sugar Hill Records also. So they were the first trio female hip hop group. So I
mm,
mean, yeah, that's so they were definitely some of the pioneers, doing this thing called rapping or hip hop. So yeah, there were women in it from the beginning, folks. Not so yeah, but yeah. Oh shoot, my printer went off. I don't know, just doing some maintenance, I guess. I thought at first I thought it was vacuum. I'm like, it's all good. So I mean, aside from that, yeah, rappers reprise was good song. Just the only thing I thought that was kind of whack was just the chorus, the jam, the There should have been a music video for it, so we can probably see like a dance or something. Well, maybe there is a dance at like a live performance, but nothing official I could find. So
Yeah, that would have been cool to see like all six of them come, and it would have been like a cipher. Like
yeah,
it would have been pretty cool.
yeah, it kind of was a cipher. And
Yeah.
the last single, well, it was actually their first single, but I had to save the best for last. Rappers Delight. Um, yeah, this song is so iconic in terms of the beat and how it came about. Um, it sampled that Cheek song, Nile Rodgers and Cheek, "Good Times," and I even sent you a video too of VH1 Hip Hop Honors or something where they rapped with them, and then Sugarhill Gang came out after they did their Good Times verse or whatever. I thought that was a good mashup. And then if you even see this group perform today, Nile Rodgers and Cheek, they um, Nile Rodgers himself will actually do the first verse of the Sugar Hill Gang's "Rappers Delight." So I think that's pretty cool how they include that into their show. So yeah, he does Wonder Mike's verse. So, but I mean, lyrically, you're just it goes just all over the place, and if you hear like a lot of like hip hop later on, like phrases like but first I gotta bang bang the boogie to the boogie, say up jump the boogie to bang bang boogie, let's rock. So up jump the boogie. If you're a big Snoop fan, he had a song called "Up Jump the Boogie" on his second LP, "The Dog Father." One of my favorite Snoop Dogg songs, by the way. But so just things like that you get, and it inspired just a lot of people. And uh, if you ever do go into hip hop, just definitely you got to give the song a listen, even if it's just like one time. Phrases like the hotel, motel, Holiday Inn. Where do you think that came from? So I mean, lyrically, it goes all over the place, and I would have to say the the it had to be the fourth verse. Yeah. Verse four where Wonder Mike talks about about going over to a friend's house and the food's not very good. I don't know what that really had to do with the people dancing in the music video, but I mean, I'm gonna run get some kale peptide or whatever. Like, um, it was funny. I mean, it was kind of funny. I mean, but I think it was just so like out there. Like when you go into like the last verse,
When I was listening to their interview, they said that that story came from a real story. It was
it
really
sounded like a
his
real story. It sounded.
Yeah, they said it was really his lady friend, as opposed to his regular friend, but he didn't want to embarrass her, so he just, said it was a friend. But yeah, it was very detailed and specific. He's like, while the stinky food is steaming, your mind starts dreaming in a moment when it's time to leave. I like that part too.
Yeah.
I also like the very beginning when he's like, "Now what you hear is not a test."
Yeah.
And when I was looking at the interview, he said he got that from a show from the '60s called The Outer Limits. It was like a
Oh yeah.
sci-fi show, kind of like the Twilight Zone. So, and
Yeah.
I
I've heard
guess
of the Outer Limits. Yeah.
at the very beginning of that one, they're like, "Do not turn off your TV. There's nothing wrong with your television set. This is us controlling." But I guess he said he had that in his mind, and he wanted to, put people in that kind of trance. So I like that, and I also like how he kind of, um, he said he was really just trying to introduce, hip hop to a mainstream audience. So he's like, "I like to say hello to the black, to the white, to the red, the brown, the purple, and yellow."
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that, and I like the story about the guy going to get that. I never even heard the name of that medicine until until I
Okay.
just listened to
Okay.
it.
Peptide.
Yeah,
It's
like Pepto Bismol.
yeah, it's pretty much competition to Pepto Bismol. But I
Mm.
usually if I have stomach problems, I just go Imodium. But but yeah. But yeah, it was a good song. I think all three of the guys killed it, and just a unique chorus, all that stuff. It was like I said, the song was just all over the place, and we only listened to the 7-inch single version for this for purpose of this podcast. But if you do want to listen to the full 14 minutes of the song, we encourage you to. It's a great song. So with that being said, so we did the three singles. Thoughts on the music video before I forget.
Yeah, the I'm trying to make sure I'm thinking about the right video because I watched a few, but I liked how they seem to be like really performing like more in the like more like the Temptations would perform than like 50 Cent would perform. They're like standing in front of microphones,
Mm,
one of them goes to the front when they perform. They're shaking their hips. They're doing all kind of stuff contemporary
yeah,
rappers would never
yeah, they
never
are.
do.
Yeah, yeah. Contemporary rappers don't dance like that. I mean, they definitely did have some dance moves. So I think it would have been hard for them to like break dance and like perform. Obviously, that would be kind of hard. But I thought the video. I think the video reflects the album artwork. They're in like a disco hall or something, and
Mhm.
just rapping, performing or whatever. So I think the three of them did a good job. I think the video. I mean, for the late 70s, I think it was a fine video. Definitely not the best music video I've ever seen, but it was definitely a good one.
Yeah, the guy Master G seems to be the leader,
Mm,
even though he's the smallest
yeah,
smallest guy there.
he's the. I mean, he like I said, I think he's the best of the three. I mean, but the other two are good too. Wonder Mike and Big Bang Hank. So I mean,
The interviews that I watched, they're like that the Big Bang Hank is not a real MC, and they, at least according to them, they really wrote and stuff. And when
mm,
he got into the group, he just was like kind of like didn't really know what to do, but they did most of the writing, at least from what they said.
yeah, well, yeah, Master G seems like a dude that wrote his own stuff. I mean, but you do got rappers that rap the part, but they don't write their own lyrics. I mean, man, rest in peace, Easy E. He was one of those guys. He didn't write a lot of his lyrics, and just so I mean, yes, that's one guy I can think of from the top of my head. So
I I don't really like that because it's like
ghostwriters,
make
you don't like them.
no, I don't like that because it's like rap is already kind of, you know, is it's not singing, like you don't have to really go all out with your voice. So if
Yeah.
you're just reading somebody else's words, I feel like you make up for the fact that you don't have like a crazy unique voice by us knowing that all of these words came out of your head and they're unique and they're brilliant. But by the time you're literally just like chanting somebody else's words, it's like, well, where were you in this song? So I can deal with it if a singer is doing it because at least it's their voice, but I can't deal with it if a rapper's doing it.
All right, that's a fair take. That is a fair take. I mean, I think it's some of it's worked for the better, or worse, I guess you could say. I mean, me personally, it doesn't bother me just as long as they can deliver, I guess. But I mean, if I think from based on what I've heard in terms of stories, if Easy E can rap, I think anyone can rap if you put your mind to it. If someone's there to help you in terms of making it happen. But I mean, I do think you do get a little more enjoyment if you are writing your own lyrics, whether it's fact or fiction, if that makes sense. So,
Yeah, yeah, I think so too.
all right. So I know there wasn't very much to choose from, even though 6 songs. Technically, this wasn't an EP. I was a little. Well, I think EPs and hip hop came a little later, but I do think with the songs being super long, I think it definitely qualifies as a long play or LP because none of these songs are like under 3 minutes. I mean, let's just be real. So, um, what top 3 songs are you going with?
Um, I went with the rappers reprise, reprise, and rappers delight and bad news.
Hmm.
Which ones did you go with?
Rappers Reprise, Rappers Delight, Bad News. For once, we actually agree. We just didn't agree on the same beat, but for once, in terms of top three songs, I knew it was going to come one day. We actually agree. So, what'd you like about
Well,
Bad News? What'd you say?
we're kind of cheating because there's only 6 songs to choose from. But
Oh,
hey,
okay, okay. I'll take it. At least I'll take it for now. Maybe I wouldn't go too far on the next on the next album we do because it's gonna have way more than 6 songs. But what'd you like about Bad News?
um, I liked it because it was kind of like uplifting.
Mm,
On the song they say, take a look into your heart. It's never too late to make a change in things. When you see it going round, don't expect someone to be you. Play your part. You've got your own thing to do, being you. You never know what you can do. Life expects you to pull through.
mm,
Don't cry. And I liked it. It seemed like
mm.
very uplifting. And then more than that, the sound of it, everything was like flowing together. And when she's saying bad news, don't bother me, just let me be. I like it
Yeah.
because every time I'm scrolling on my phone and all of a sudden it's like such and such died in a horrific crash, or
Oh, oh.
this hiker fell off a cliff. I'm like, oh my god, bad news. Don't
Yeah.
bother me.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Just let me
yeah,
be.
yeah. Actually, reading through these lyrics, it kind of makes me want to shut off my Yahoo news feeds that I be getting. This happened or this person did this, and yeah,
Yeah.
well, it is a bit uplifting. Yeah, the females at the beginning saying bad news, don't bother me, and then it goes into that different pitch. Bad news, don't bother me, no, no, and goes into pitch, and then it goes back into that lower pitch, like starting with the third verse, I guess you could say. It was a pretty catchy song for the most part. Maybe a little too long, like a lot of these songs, but I mean, I
Yeah.
think that was the thing during that time. I guess I think you said this several episodes back. The '90s, or you were asking if it was a '90s thing when they just let the beat play on after they were done. I think back at this point in time, the songs were just way too long. So,
I think they were saying when they were recording Rapper's Delight, they had never obviously hip hop had never been recorded before, so they kept on rapping for a long time because they didn't know that when they were supposed to stop or if they were supposed to stop. So they just
oh,
kept going. Nobody said stop.
so yeah, so I
Um
think the bars weren't timed or something. It had to be something like with that, maybe. I don't know, but
Yeah, I like that at least by the song being longer with this song
mm,
Bad News,
mm,
they could get more in depth with the choruses. Like the
yeah,
choruses kind of changed throughout it, so I thought that was cool. But it was a little too long.
yeah.
The way my attention span is set up, it wasn't set up for that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just a little too long, but otherwise, I mean, it was a good song. I'm not gonna lie. I think the rest of the songs on here, "Here I Am" was all right, not my favorite. "Sugar Hill Groove" was a pretty decent song, also, and "Passion Play." They all were good songs, just a little too long for my blood. But going back to choruses real quick, I just think with the rappers, the light chorus, it was just like "Up Jump the Boogie," that part being the chorus. That was just all over the place, like with that. So I mean, at least with rappers reprise, like what the chorus was, like. So I mean,
Yeah.
I think with that song, it was just you can obviously you had no idea. Not so much what they didn't know what they were doing, is they kind of either didn't know when to stop or I don't know,
Yeah, they were just making up words at some point.
but all right. So for cuts and expansions, obviously the version we went through had a Rapper's Delight 7-inch single. If you want to listen to the 14-minute version of it, you can. There's even a shorter version than the one we listened to, like only 3 minutes or something like that. So there are shorter versions of that song. I think they obviously learned about attention spans when it came to hip hop eventually. I don't know, but otherwise, no other known cuts or anything like that. Um, Recommendations. Obviously, we're gonna go into Sugar Hill Records and see what other artists there were. Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. The Message. They were on Sugar Hill Records. So definitely check that out if you want to dig deep into what they had. The Sequence had a self-titled album, debut album, The Sequence. That came out in about 1980 or 1981. You can definitely check that out as well. And then the Sugar Hill Records story, which is it's on. I'm not sure. It probably is on CD, but I wouldn't know where to pick it up. But it's also at least on Spotify. It's like 50 something songs, 50 tracks. Definitely check it out if you want to see who else was on Sugar Hill. I'm gonna type it up real quick.
And just to add, this album actually was not on Apple Music at all. So if you want to hear it and you got Apple, just go to Spotify and
Mhm.
suffer through the ads and
Oh,
listen to it.
oh, that's how you had to get through it. Okay, well, but
Yeah.
yeah, the Sugar Hill Records compilation album. It has about 50 plus songs. You'll get songs from Busy Bee, Crash Crew, Grandmaster, Melly Mel, and just like a lot of just pioneers that got a lot of these people wanting to do what they were doing and just perfecting that sound that we call hip hop. So definitely a lot of stuff, and then just also check out what the Sugar Hill Gang did also after this album. But first album in the world of hip hop, first studio album that we know of. So kudos to them. We finally got to do it on the show. I'm happy that we did do this album. This was a Netta's pick for this week. So thank you for the good one, Netta. You got any closing thoughts on this one before we wrap this up?
Just I didn't expect to really like it as much as I did. I thought it was just going to be just a little too corny, and it was kind of corny. It absolutely was, but that's just a part of the story.
Yeah.
I like it's like a very intentional message to the world. Hip hop's first foray into the mainstream, which to me is like powerful in and of itself.
Mm,
And listening to it and knowing, because I'm in 2023, just knowing that it was the catalyst that sparked so many other minds.
mm.
It's incredible to me. So I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it too. I'm actually glad that you chose it. It was a great pick. Thank you for choosing it. I would recommend any hip hop fan just give it a listen, even if it's just one time. Just I mean, we want to just pay respect to the people that paved the way for us, and the Sugar Hill Gang's definitely one of those guys. So if you get a chance, check it out. It's only 6 songs. It's 6 long songs. May I warn you, but I mean, it's good. As for any songs going back to the playlist, Rappers Caprice and Bad News don't bother me. I'll take back. And then Rappers Delight. I mean, I've heard it so many times. I don't really need to take that back to any playlist. So,
I'm
so
I'm definitely taking back bad news. I forgot to say. I really like bad news.
okay. So you are gonna take something back. All right, cool. All right. So for Netta, aka Wanderous Net, I'm Justin. Too tall for you, fool. Thank you for watching or listening to Listen in 3D. We will catch you on the next one. Later.